contribution.
Hi there. I welcome you once again to Wasi History TV. In our last video, we did look at archaeology, using archaeology as a source for studying African history. And we looked at the advantages or the importance of archaeology as a source for studying African history. We couldn't finish with that, and so today I want us to look at the disadvantages of using archaeology as a source of African history. And then we will bring our discussions on archaeology to an end. And can you recall some of the advantages that we said was, or the importance of using archaeology to study African history? If you have, in case you have forgotten, I have the link under this video so you can actually revisit and remind ourselves. But one of the most of course, one of the most important points that we raised about was the fact that archaeology served as the source for, or the main source for studying African history, pre-history of Africa. And archaeology is the main source used in the studying of the pre-history of what? Africa. All right? Archaeology being the main source for the study of pre-history of Africa. And that is what we said archaeology was. So good. Let's then look at the disadvantages as we begin with today's important. Good. So one of the importance of course, one of the demerit or the disadvantages of archaeological work is that archaeology or the work of archaeologists may be guesswork. Guess, okay? I hope you understand the meaning of guess. Guesswork. So one is actually bound to use much, guesswork in the reconstruction of the past, leading to an inaccurate, information, because very often these informations are actually, these informations are actually, gotten from. So you discover the event, or the artifact. You discover the artifact, and then you make a guess that this might mean that, which sometimes may be inaccurate. All right. Again, we also said that the use of the radiocarbon dating always also approximate what date. So with the radiocarbon dating, it doesn't give you an accurate date. It only approximates. Okay, and very often to some of the artifacts which are found are anonymous. It has no owner. So how do you tell the meaning of such artifact? Because some of the things that archaeologists do found under the soil, sometimes they don't know the owner, and so makers of such artifacts are unknown. And so the archaeology is bound to guess that I think that this is what it might be used for. Probably it might not be so. And that is why we say archaeology might be a guesswork. And history, we don't deal with guesswork. History is science, which deals with empirical evidences and good. Archaeology is also very expensive. Yes, it is very, 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 expensive, especially in Africa, because before you go in there to excavate, there is a high cost of labor, excavating, of course, machines, and also, like finding selected site. Like I said earlier, it is not every site that archaeology excavates. They have selected sites that they believe that some group of people stayed in there, and also getting permits to actually even excavate those areas, and more also laboratory expenses and special tools that are actually needed in the excavating of course process. So it makes archaeology very, very difficult. And the most worst of it all is the use of the radiocarbon dating is also quite expensive in determining the date, and also very complex. So it's not that easy. It's not that easy use archaeology to study African history. But let's look at the next one. Archaeology also depends on other sources for information. Now, especially other sources like oral tradition and also written sources. You understand? I told you that archaeologists do not excavate everywhere. They need information from other sources. It therefore means that in the absence of oral tradition, what happens is that archaeologists cannot be able to what to work. You get a point. So the archaeologists in most cases have to receive information about a site or read it from book before the excavation can take place. And so you realize that it depends on other sources, which limits archaeology, the work of archaeologists. It means that without the other sources, archaeologists cannot work. Okay, so without receiving information about a site of ruins, archaeologists cannot work, and which becomes a handicap for archaeologists in trying to use archaeology to study African history. It will become a problem because of that. Again, archaeologists find it difficult to interpret artifacts, and that's one of the most difficult things about the archaeological work. It is very difficult for them to interpret the artifact that they come across. Okay, and so as an archaeologist, sometimes you need knowledge from so many disciplines like chemistry, like botany, like geology, art, history, and all kinds of things in order to be able to interpret the artifact that you have found. If not, it will be very, 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 very difficult. Okay, and then let's look at more. Archaeology gives spotty information. The information that archaeology gives you about the artifact that you come across is very spotty. It's spotty in the sense that it's not much, it's not much information. And historians also, we need a lot of information. Historians don't deal with spotty information. What you should know is that, of course, historian deals with spotty information. The next one is that the nature of the climate and, of course, also climatic, conditions also may, destroy the artifact that is being, discovered or that has been discovered. So the fossil remains, all right, the fossil remains may be destroyed by this, African hot weather. So the rainforest has high temperature and rainfall, which may actually disturb, the what do you call it, the artifact which has been discovered. And so we say that the nature of the climate may also not favor the work of archaeologists. Let me give you a very good example of archaeological works. There are lots of archaeological works which has been done in areas like Egypt. If you go to Egypt, there are so many archaeological works which has been done over there with regards to the discovery of the tombs of the mummies and other stuff like that. I believe that if you have time, you can just Google and find out some of the excavation sites in Egypt, and you'll be amazed as to the kind of things that archaeologists have been able to discover, in that area or in Egypt. Good. We bring our discussions to an end. This is a WASI question you can try your hands on, which says highlight the importance of archaeology as a source of African history. And this will be in the previous, if you check under this link, under this video. Of course, the link is there. Check it and try your hand on it. Thank you very much for your time. We shall meet some other time. Bye-bye.
WASI